observed. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I believe I might be at least the presentation that stands between us and lunch, even though tea was not too long ago. But I'm happy to be here and happy to honor the invitation to share with you. And the original title of my presentation was Profiling the Senate in the Media, Effectively Engaging the Media in Selling Your Legislative Agenda, with a focus on new media. But I have changed my title with your, and I'll plead to change it to the 3 habits of highly effective social media senators. The 3 habits of highly effective social media senators. And that's really what I'm here to share and to present a counterpoint that builds on my senior chair of the Editors Guild, Mr. Churchill. So if we start, and I take the cue from our session chair, Senator Wambua, then you have started a race with 2027 in mind. And if I present to you the social media or the digital battleground, if you would, I would suggest to you that at this very moment, every single one of you senators have what I would call a Google CV. If I search for your first name and your last name, I will find this Google CV. And I'll not be the only one. For many of the electorate, some 15, 17 million now, as I'll share some statistics, and potentially in 2027, some 20 plus million strong, they will increasingly receive their news through their phones. In fact, many of you throughout this morning, even now, you might be on a device as you listen to me, because that's the power of technology in shaping the information we get. So I would say search what people find about you, your Google CV, this digital reputation, is somewhat of a battleground. It's a place that you can cultivate and shape how people, the media, the voters who elected you, or the party that has nominated you, and whatever constituency that you advocate for, you can shape their perception. And the media will be core in the coverage of you, because that will be part of what's there. And so will the bloggers too, or people who write in an unsolicited way without necessarily inviting your comment or your point of view. Social media is another battleground, if we could say. And here there is a lot that I'll say and I'll share with you shortly. And in addition to this, there is also messaging apps. These are WhatsApp, Telegram, Messenger. These are key spaces where people are engaging one-to-one or in groups. Also a key constituency that you must consider. And lastly, YouTube, and to a greater extent, online audio or online, you might call them podcasts, or those who stream the radio through the internet and not necessarily through the FM. That is another aspect to consider. So, honorable senators, I'm here to persuade you just 3 points, which I will unpack. The first is, I want to say that the 3 habits of the highly effective social media senator. The first is they build a virtual constituency. They build a virtual constituency. Secondly, they build a voice on causes. Causes they care about, causes their constituents care about, causes citizens care about. That's the second thing, the second habit they do. And thirdly, they build a vehicle for their agenda, their legislative agenda, their development agenda, and obviously there's the constitutional mandate of senators. And I would plead with you that this is my take on what the future, not just the present, says on the role of the Senate and each one of you as senators, and not just in your individual capacity, but in your office with whomever is handling communications for you and working alongside you. So if we look to just the platforms I spoke of earlier, you see places like TikTok there, right? You see places like Facebook and places like that. And I'll spend some time just briefly discussing platforms, just to share with you a bit of this virtual constituency we've just described. So if you take the country today, Facebook in Kenya is larger than the population of the following counties put together: Nairobi, Kiambu, Nakuru, Kakamega, Bungoma, Meru, Kilifi, and Machakos. All put together, that is the size of Facebook. Some 16 million strong in Kenya. These are the monthly active users, according to Facebook in April of this year, 2022. And to me, if I'm asking you to consider how best to engage there, you may have a page by this point. My question to you would be groups. So people are already self-organizing in your respective counties in Facebook groups. Young people are organizing. Some civil society organizations may organize too. And people with a general interest, even the diaspora, will self-organize and try to keep in touch with what's happening at home. Are you present there? Are you listening there? And are you finding a way to participate? Because you have your space as an honorable senator, but there are also these other spaces elsewhere that give you the chance to build this virtual constituency of Kenyans, not only here and the ones online, but also in the diaspora. And I believe we have had the diaspora in particular focus the last few weeks. Now, if I can tell you about WhatsApp for a brief moment. If we take WhatsApp, that is also a key platform. For many of us, it was critical in the campaign. You mobilized, organized, strategized, and informed your teams and many people on the ground through WhatsApp. Don't neglect it, continue to use it, whether it's the status or whatever aspect you want to use to reach and engage people there. And it's great that now there's about 512 people that you can add to a group, maybe for better and for worse, because maybe many of us might have many groups on mute at this point, now that you have arrived in the Senate. Kenyans on Twitter, I don't know what to say about them, but they are one of the most tricky, right? They can be quite cynical. They can be very sarcastic. They can be very antagonistic, if I could say that. Some would say that this is the most negative of the social networks. It's hard to get a compliment or a comment generally. You may get complaints. That's quite likely. But Kenyans on Twitter